Things are good.
We're live. We are live.
We are live. Yeah, man. Things have officially picked up in Wisconsin. Lots of things happening. Getting the schedule, the appointment book filled, which is great news.
Can you believe next week already?
Is Dallas? I know. You look excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm fired up. No, I'm excited to see everybody. We'll probably be taking 2 weeks off of this show. Maybe 3 weeks off this show.
What? Wow. It's like we should have seasons. Maybe we should start seasons.
Hey, Shelbs. I'll see you in an hour.
Yo, Shelby. Yeah, maybe we should have seasons. I think we'd be on I don't know. We did year seasons. We might be on season 7 or something. Season 6.
Yes, something like that.
It's been a while. It's been a minute, as the kids say nowadays.
Well, hey, I'm glad Shelby's watching.
That's right.
Let's see. Let me just pull this up so I can see.
Hey, Mr. Walls.
Yeah.
Yo.
Here we go. Hold on. There we go. All right. Hey, Mr. Walls. Miss Dawn. Good, Mr. Walls. I'm glad you'll listen. You know what I've noticed, Mr. Peter Johnson? Lately, since summer hit, it's crazy. It starts off the show starts off slow, but then gets up into the 30s, 40s. People slowly tune in, but maybe we're just not giving good enough information. Why don't you just go over everything you're going to go over in Dallas next week?
Oh, sure.
Here, pull your PowerPoint up.
I can't. It's the megabytes are too big. It will not load up on the screen.
Right. Okay. Well,
too big of a file.
Miss Mandy in the house.
What's up?
Peter Johnson says growers, not showers.
That's interesting. Yes.
You were just talking about that before the show.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk business. Where is everybody? We had a post. Great info. Seems to take a bit to get the video going. Yeah, that's Tassoul's fault, Mr. Walls.
No.
Right, let's talk about. We had a post in Century Martial Arts School Network about what's your why. Well, obviously, why do you watch this show? Well, they answered it. The answer is, well, I don't.
Well, there's two.
The why is this, and this is important if you want to succeed and grow in business, right? You have to know your why and get back to your original reason why you got into this business in the first place. And I may, because if you want to, I don't know if you saw my post or, there was a post, Shelby posted a question.
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Did you see my post as far as in Century, as far as, do you know your why?
Of course.
Oh, good.
Okay. But I don't think, I'm going to have a healthy debate with you right now.
Great.
Because I think there may be a reason. I think the question actually was, why did you get started in the martial art business? Right?
Yeah, right.
Well, that why may be different today. Your why may be different today than it was when you actually got started. Maybe.
But I think we need to be reminded on why we got started, right? So why did you get started in the martial arts business? Well, what's your answer, Tass?
I can tell you the how. I mean, I'll give you the why. The why is that I started training when I was. I'll give you the long story. The why was, I went to high school, went to college, went to 2 years of college, and just was going for computer information systems. And not because it's something I want to do, it's kind of something I was told to do or said, hey, you might be good at this. But I started martial arts when I was 9, which means, when I was in college, I had been doing martial arts for 10 years. It's what I knew about and cared about. And I remember I had a high school English teacher. Somehow I got in an honors English class. I have no idea how that happened. But he said, we're going to write a lot of papers this semester. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And he said, if you write a paper on something that you know about and care about, you'll write an A paper every time. And so I read about martial arts, and I ended up getting an A in the class. And then went to college, realized that the whole computer information system thing and the college journey wasn't right for me. Not that it's not right for everybody, but it wasn't right for me. And thought, well, geez, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, if I do something that I know about and care about, maybe I can be successful at doing it. And so it was really my high school English teacher. Those words kind of came back to me when I realized I wasn't going the path that I wanted to. And I was fine. I worked for my parents for years, but I wanted to have I had the entrepreneurial spirit and wanted to have the proverbial freedom that everyone thinks they get by being an entrepreneur, right? And sometimes it's a little bit different plays out differently than what you think it's going to be. But I wanted to kind of really create my own destination and be able to do something that I was passionate about, that I loved, and it happened to be martial arts. And that was my why. It wasn't this I want to go change the world type thing. Not at that point. That's not where my head was at. But that was the reason why I got started.
Well, and when you did that, the reason you got started, was it because you just had a passion for martial arts, or were you thinking at the time, this is a way to financial freedom?
Yeah, I can't remember who said it years ago. It was not I don't think maybe there was the dream of it being like financial freedom, right? But very shortly thereafter, realizing when I went out and plastered hundreds and hundreds of flyers on cars at a parade, and I think I got 4 students, I'm like, man, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And maybe my mindset may have changed about, well, can I at least make a living doing this? I didn't know about the financial freedom thing at that time. Obviously, that was the big dream. So no, I don't think it was that. It was chasing more of my passion than my pension, as I've heard said in the past. And I think that was probably true for a lot of people that got started, and we'll find out from people that are watching. But it was about chasing the passion. I love to do it. I love to train personally, and I love sharing. And I just loved watching people experience martial arts and be able to share something that I knew a little bit about and see people grow. And it wasn't until years later that when you have people come back to you that are going off to college to be aeronautical engineers, and they're doing all these, amazing things in life, and they say, they attribute a lot of that to the martial art training, the discipline that they had, and the instruction, and the leadership, and the motivation. That's when I think I started realizing, we really can help people become the best versions of themselves, and realize really what their potential is and what's possible in life, whether that's through martial arts or anything.
So, all right. So let's do this. I think your story may be similar. I think the majority of us got into the martial arts business because we love the martial arts, right? And, everybody gives that right answer or that nice answer of, well, I wanted to get into the martial arts to make an impact on my community. I don't know if I buy it, I mean, not originally, you're
Right.
a martial arts student, but maybe, right? Maybe you were a martial arts student, martial arts saved your life. Maybe martial arts got you in shape and you're like, you know what? I want to do this for other people. That's possible, right?
At 20, when I started my first school, right? I actually started my first school when I was in college. I started a club at college, but my goal wasn't the top of my mind of awareness was like change people's lives. It was like, I need people to train with, man. Like that was what it was for me,
But here's the thing. I'm going to let everyone in on this secret, everyone. And this is going to help you guys, I think. I got into the martial arts because it's what I was good at the time. It's what I've been doing like you since I was like 8 years old, 7, 8 years old. I started martial arts. I was in high school and I was getting paid to be an instructor, part-time instructor, assistant instructor. And then I got a job working for a company that taught it was a nonprofit that taught in elementary schools. And then I started my own company. I was 17 My parents were partners with me on the company, because I was 17. And I started teaching in elementary schools for the school year. And then I would recommend, then my plan was to recommend everybody. I still didn't think this is my life yet. Because, by the way, at the time, check this out, everybody. This is important. I was in high school, and I think they needed a head instructor for J. Kim Karate, J. Kim's, right? They were based up in, and they still are. They're still up in like Baltimore area, right? But at the time, they had the largest chain on the East Coast, and they were expanding. Master Kim was expanding in Florida. And there was a time I was asked to be the head instructor at a location. I was a senior in high school. They were desperate, like we sometimes all are, right, to find good people. And I said, I can't work full time. I'm still in high school. And they said, look, we'll pay a salary. We'll pay a full time or whatever. And I think they were paying me, I think it was like $450 a week. And I was in high school, but it was like high school. I left early. I was in a program that if you worked, you can leave high school early. I'd get to the school like right at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. I don't remember, and work till 9 every night. I did that for a while until I went to work for this nonprofit. And I did it because of some political stuff going on down here with that. But anyway, here's the thing though. Here's what's important. I left that $450. I didn't like it, and went to work for this nonprofit, did this for a school year, and I was making $60 to $70 a week. But I was still living at home, right? So so I was working, doing that, and then I started my own thing doing it. And then I was still training at my school where I was training, and I wanted to recommend all these students. And they said, we don't want to go anywhere else. We want to keep you as an instructor. So my mom and dad, my parents said, look, we'll back you if you want to open a school. So I opened my first school, 989 square feet, and was living at home. And here's the secret. Here's what I want to tell everybody. I thought I had the dream job, because now I was 18 years old. I was in college. I was going to college full time, but I'd get to my business. I owned it now at 4 o'clock and work from 4 to 9, 5 hours. I thought this is it. This is the dream job, right? Then at 21 years old, I was happy because I loved martial arts. I was teaching, I was living at home, and I was making decent money. Why? Because I was living at home. I didn't have rent, right? But my mom sat me down and said to me, you're 21 years old now. You got to make a decision. Do you want to have a hobby and run your martial arts school, or do you want to run a business? She goes, you need to make a decision. Well, knowing that the right answer, like we always give, that when mom's asking, you don't want to say, Mom, I love it. This is a great hobby. I said, well, I want to run a business. Well, she said, then you got to get serious, get focused, get your ass in gear, and you got to start getting into your school early. And by the way, here's a convention that's coming to Orlando. You need to go to it. And I said, like a lot of us, look, for those of you tuning in, I think you're tuning in because you want to learn something. You want to grow, I think, because most of our industry, look, we're live right now on Century Martial Arts School Network with, I don't know, 15,000 plus schools on there, or 20,000. I don't even know what the number is, but there's 19 of you watching this right now, right? And it could be, I mean, normally we're running in the 60s live, but summer hit, and who knows what's going on during summer camps. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. But the thing is, the thing is, as I said, well, what are they going to teach me? I know how to teach. By the way, at the time, we had some world-class martial artists. I had kids that were sponsored and were I thought, winning tournaments, and my guys were on ESPN. We were killing it. I thought, how much better can I be? Not understanding that there's a business aspect to it, right? Like most of our industry. So the first convention I went to was an EFC convention, and I was blown away. I was blown away at the professionalism, the knowledge, the people, and I was blown away. And I started getting serious, and I said, man, I didn't realize you can make a really good living in martial arts without sacrificing any of your quality of instruction or whatever it was that I was thinking. But here's the big thing that I want to tell everybody. Back then I said, if I can gross $10,000 a month, that would be unbelievable. That was my goal. I want to gross $10,000 a month. Because I just thought that's great, right? As I started learning business and hanging around other people in the business that I respected, that had a beautiful school, high-level martial arts, and were grossing $40,000 a month, I set my standards differently, and I opened my mind.
By the way, back in the late 80s, 90s, right?
90s. That was huge. And so I surrendered and said, I need to learn how to do this, because if I can really keep doing what I was really doing as a hobby and a passion and make great money, that'd be great. And originally it was about, how do I make money? Because I didn't have staff. I needed to make money because I was still living at home, right? I had to make money. Well, what I did was I invested in my future. How? I had 3 guys that I felt I needed to get to that next level, and I paid them everything I can, and I wasn't making a lot of money. I mean, at the time, my goal was to make 50 grand a year. That was my goal as the school owner. My goal was to make $50,000 a year. Fast forward, how did I get to where I am today? And this is why you need to know your why. Because there is a grind to getting there. There's a grind to have your cake and eat it too, right? You know, they say you can't have your cake and eat it too. Yes, you can. But the reason why people say you can't is because it's so difficult. It is hard. And what's hard about it is we didn't sign up for that grind. If you know why you started in the martial arts, it wasn't because I want to grind and try to grow a business. We got started in the martial arts because we had a passion for doing martial arts. Hence why our industry isn't successful overall as an industry, because we don't want to do that other part of that grind, that business. But if you change your why, like Tass, you said that was the original why. I don't know if it's the why today. You need to know both. Wouldn't it be unbelievable if you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars with the passion that you had and have both, right? But you got to grind. Today, my why is different. I'm not doing this now for me to make money, because the martial arts has allowed myself and Frank Silverman, who's my business partner, the opportunity to get into real estate development and consulting and licensing and yada, yada, yada. And today, I want to provide financial opportunity to all of my people that have a passion for martial arts. But no matter if you have a title of an owner or the title of an instructor or program director, if you want to get to the top, you have to be willing to grind and do the things that you don't want to do. But you have to have a strong enough why. You know what? I'm doing this because I want to be financially secure, and I want to stay in a business that I have a passion for. And if I want that, that's why I'm going to do what I have to do on the business side that I don't like doing, whether that's making phone calls, selling programs, going out and sitting at a booth for 5 hours. You do what you got to do to get yourself to where you want to be. But you can't do that unless you have enough motivation. And that motivation is the why.
That's right. And when you have that why and you understand, this is a concept that's said to a lot of people. We say to a lot of people, right now, you're going to feel like you're overworked and underpaid. And eventually the idea is that you're feeling like you're underworked and overpaid. But sometimes we don't sacrifice today for what we want for tomorrow. And then this is where the grind becomes inevitable, right? And, it's over and over and over and over. And so interesting, because grind can have a negative connotation, right? And I got these posters up, right? And you got hustle, grind, and execution. And grind says perform repetitive tasks over and over to attain a goal. To attain a goal, right? It's not just to perform repetitive tasks over and over. That's when the grind gets negative. Like, it's the same thing over and over. But to obtain a goal, then the grind is worth it. Like, I know what I'm after. I know what that goal is. I'm willing to do the grind. And sometimes what happens is the grind changes, right? The grind changes from, okay, well, right now, what's the goal? All right, then let me go grind it out. Like, the goal is to go get 20 students or 100 students or whatever it is. Or the grind is to get to $10,000 a month in gross revenue. Or the grind is this. But then later the grind is like a current grind. Like, I need more team members. I need more staff. Now I got to grind it out, and I got to go look for more people and hire great people and get them trained in. And it's always changing, but that's also what I think makes what we do so fun. Where I also knew I wanted to do martial arts, Mets. Here was a why, because I knew what I didn't want to do. So back in the day, I went to a job placement company. You got to take the test and do all the mechanical stuff and put the pegs in the holes and take a test and whatever. And they said, hey, we have this job opening at Hayes Manufacturing. I'm like, all right. So my parents were on me. So I was in I don't know, I was probably 16, 17, whatever it was. So I go to Hayes Manufacturing, and I get there, and they bring me over this machine, and I have cardboard cylinders like you'd see a tuna can or cat food, right? There's a cardboard cylinder, and then there was a metal top. And I would take the cardboard cylinder, put the metal top on the top, press up. You can't see me right now. I'm pushing my foot down, but I press a pedal. It would come down. It would compress the metal top on top of the cardboard cylinder. I'd go, doop, throw it in the box, get a cardboard cylinder, put a metal top on, press the pedal, boop. Dude, for the first 4 hours, I did that. The same thing over and over and over. And I'll never forget, man. It was literally like the lunch bell. The lunch whistle goes off. And when it went off, I didn't go to the lunchroom. I walked out the door and never came back. I'm like, I am not doing that for the rest of my life. Like, that is a grind. That's not what I want.
You know what the owner of that company said? Damn, I can't find good people. I hired someone, they walked out at lunchtime, never came back.
That's right. Never forget it, man. My parents are like, why are you home so early? I'm like, I'm not doing that for the rest of my life.
Well, there you go. That could be enough why, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, everybody watching, ladies and gentlemen. You hear our stories, right? And the key here was I surrendered and realized I need to empty my cup, and I really need to learn. Like, how do I do what they're doing? You know, how do I do that? And you have plenty of people in this industry, and yet we still don't take action because we're afraid. We're afraid. And don't ever be good enough. I mean, Tass, you talk about it all the time. Here in Orlando, we're always working on the next thing. We're always like trying to be better, always trying to be better.
Right.
So what I would recommend everybody is two things. Number one, I would write down for yourself, and don't give yourself the nice answer, right? Like, originally, why did you get into the profession of martial arts? Not martial arts, like why did you join martial arts? Why did you become a student? Why did you get into the profession of martial arts? And why are you still in the martial arts? And what is it that you want today out of your profession of martial arts? What do you want out of your profession? And I say profession, I'm not saying out of your business, because some of you are not the business owner, but it doesn't matter. Those are titles. We can all want the same thing. What do you want out of your profession of being in the martial arts industry? And be honest with yourself. And if you just say impact a community, if that's your answer, then stop getting paid for it, offer free martial arts training, and go make a difference in your community if that's your only answer. The problem is that could be part of your answer, but it's okay to also have part of your answer of financial security.
Right.
That's what I mean. You could have both. People think it's like, oh, I just want to make an impact. That's all you want to do. Then why are you even charging $10 a month? Go do it for free. Go walk the earth and give lessons to everybody.
Well, right? And there's a lot of education that still needs to happen in this industry. And I'll give you an example. I've had 3 people in the last week and a half that have filled out applications, of all of which were martial arts students, number one. They're all black belts, and they all trained at different facilities that have actually closed down. And when I called them to talk to them about the possibility of them becoming, coming on the team, and then we had part-time and full-time positions to be able to explain what the full-time position looks like and what we offer, they're absolutely blown away. And like, I didn't even know this is something that you could like do full-time. And that's where I think our industry needs to be educated. And that, by the way, goes from the owner all the way up, all the way down, right? So if you aren't at that level of success, then you can't provide that for other people. And this is where look, there's nothing wrong with, for some of you that may watch and say, well, I love my 9 to 5 and I love teaching martial arts. And that's great. That's cool. But there's other people that feel like they're in the grind and they're trying to get out of that full time. And they're trying to get martial arts full time. And if they could make that leap and we could wave a magic wand and they would generate the same money they make at their full-time job in their martial arts school with the insurance benefits and all things that go along with it, there's a bunch of people that would take that leap and take that jump today. And they're trying to figure out how to get there. And how to get there is to take that bridge of trying to do everything by yourself and learn everything and go through the school of hard knocks and do all those things and just take coaching, right? And some of us are stubborn. I'll give you an example. My daughter. All right. So my daughter's 20 years old now. She's on her own. And she just bought a husky, 8-week-old puppy. Right. And you can tell her all you want. Look, here's the responsibility with dogs. You're not going to be able to travel. You're going to have to find someone to watch your dog, and you're going to have to potty train. At the end of the day, some of us are just like, and she might watch this, are like my daughter, where they're just stubborn. And like, I know, I don't care what you say. I'm going to do it anyways. And that's totally fine. And then you're going to learn there's word lessons and there's world lessons, and you're going to figure those things out as you go. But if you knew and you could learn from other people, I did it with my dad. When I went to I bought a motorcycle when I was like 16, 17. He's like, that's the worst investment that you could make in Wisconsin. He's like, you're going to drive a thing 3 months out of the year. It's going to be in the garage for 9. I'm like, yep, I know. I was the kid, right? I know. I got the motorcycle. I had it for a season and a half and I sold it. I'm like, he was right. I only rode it for a little while. So, there are things that in this industry, whether it's us or anybody else, that can literally, you hear Tony Robbins talk about turning decades into days, literally can do that for you and like catapult you to the next level. And like Met said, whether that's us or anybody else, you should really take advantage of that and take your business to the next level. There's so much help and there's so much out there as far as opportunities. Instead of trying to do it yourselves, I promise you, the things that you're trying to do have already been done over and over and over. And there's pros and there's cons and there's all things in between. So,
look, everybody out there is trying to sell something, just like you're trying to sell your martial arts lessons, right? But do you think your martial arts lessons would benefit people? Of course you do. Just like the people here trying to sell you something they feel it would benefit you. And most of the time, we look at things and we talk about why we won't do something. But have you ever asked yourself, well, why would I do it? Why will I do it? If I was going to do it, why would I do it? So, for example, the plug, right? I mean, I'm making the example, but, we're doing this show. As I said before, the people watching this show, I really think you guys want to grow your business. I mean, because I don't know why you'd watch this if you didn't want to grow your business, right? Maybe we're going to say something on here that's going to inspire you, motivate you, help you, right? So you're watching, I think, right? And so, well, we have a seminar, a next level summit here in Orlando. It's $199. Why is it $199? Well, you guys know why, because it's a 2-day trial lesson. If you sign somebody up on a trial lesson because you really know how valuable your benefits and values of what you do are good, you know that if you get somebody in on a trial lesson, they're going to enroll with you, right? Because they'll see the value. It's the same reason why we're charging $199 so you can come to our world headquarters and do our 2-day event. You're going to get so much information that I know you're going to sign up for something. The majority of you most likely will, because you're going to see, wow, I did not know this information. I did not know the details of this information. I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew it. I've heard it all. I've been to seminars. But wow, yes, I want to sign up with you guys on some capacity because I believe you're going to help me get my school to the next level. Well, that's why you would come to this event. But everybody can sit here and talk about, well, I'm not going to do that. They're saying I'm going to sign off. Why are you signing off? Why aren't you coming? I'm not coming because, look, no one's going to tell me how to run my business. I've heard it all before. I don't have the money. We'll justify it. All of you watching, you have $199 plus an airfare and one-night hotel room. You have enough money to do that. But what is the upside? The worst case scenario is you lose the $199 and the airline ticket and one-night hotel. Let's call it $600, right? But the best case scenario is you make tens of thousands more because you learned something, right? But we shut off. I'm just saying, remember why you got in this business to begin with, understand why you're still in it, and ask yourself, what do you want to see yourself get out of this business, out of the martial arts business? And people on the post said, if you want to impact more people in your community, you'll make a much bigger impact if you're generating more revenue.
Metz, it's interesting as you're talking, and giving me lots of time to think because you just keep talking.
Yeah,
this is interesting. Take the Super Show as an example, right? But there's also a lot of seminars that are done throughout the course of the year that are not done at the Super Show. It's interesting how many people that you see that are at these, not even presenting, as guests that are there watching, that don't even need to be there because they have this figured out and they've been successful for years. Well, why are they as successful as they are, and why do they keep coming? Because that's what got them to where they are today. And they could say, well, listen, there's people in this industry that have been doing this for 40, 50 years and have seen everything and are very successful in their own right in the martial arts business that still show up to events, still show up at seminars, still are around. Because why? Because they understand if they take one small thing away from it, it's going to pay dividends, right? And yet some people that have never been to a seminar, and look, Metzger puts on a shtick. He's he always puts his little shtick on about being, hey, I know everything. That's a shtick. He was the same kid when he was younger. He told you. But there's a difference, and he also understands, when I don't understand something or when I want to learn, there's always value in taking that away, which is why he got over that. So it is as much of a front as sometimes we put on, and we kind of joke back and forth. It's not, you guys got to remember, it's not because it's Metzger and Tassoul know so much. It's because we've seen so much, right? And we've seen more than everybody. Why? Not because we're just lucky enough, but because we actually talk to clients that are transparent with us. Metzger's, I don't even know what the count would be. It's over the course of time between audiences and individual coaches, it's thousands of people that are sharing and being transparent, which is different than talking to an acquaintance at a tournament where they're round to the nearest 100 students, right? They have 102. They're like, yeah, I got 200 students. That's what they do when they tell you their student base. This is coming from clients and from people that are being transparent and honest, what the successes are, what are the failures. And when you hear all of this and you get all of this data coming at you for years and years and years and years at a time, and you can analyze it and know that there's so many similarities to people that are successful, and these are the similarities to people that are not successful, it's pretty easy to teach and deliver that information because you've got case studies to the tune of hundreds and hundreds of people. Those case studies can't be wrong. They just can't be. And that's the difference, I think, is, we've just been down that road and listened to so many people, and we've learned from so many people. And we learn because we talk to each other every freaking day and come up with different ideas. And sometimes we go, yeah, that's a great idea. Sometimes, no, that's not a great idea. And then we test it to see if it's going to be a great idea. There's so much that's happening. So, man, I was fortunate enough, to be honest, I was fortunate enough back in the day when I opened my first school was when Maya still had VHS tapes in a box. And I remember that was where I got my first start in business, number one, which helped me become more successful than most businesses were even back in the day. And still I had my struggles. But that's where I saw Dave Kovar for the first time and learned how to be a better teacher. And I would devour all of those things. And I feel for people to this day that I say, hey, you should check out Maya. What's Maya? I'm like, man, we have a lot of work to do, because if you don't know what Maya is, that's a problem, because it's been around for 20, 21 years. And it's just can help you and can help people in so many ways, yet they just don't know about it. And then,
by the way, and it's evolved, by the way. Maya has evolved. So some of the people
don't do VHS tapes anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, some of the people here, most likely, if you've been in business 20 years ago, you were a Maya member, and you have a perception of what information Maya gives. It's completely different with the programming and the pathway that we have for school owners today.
That's right. And it's evolved. It's evolved with experience. It's evolved with more information, more data points, everything that we've gotten to build this way, way, way better platform and keep upgrading the platform and making it better, right? And that's what it comes down to. So the person, I feel sorry for the person that doesn't know about Maya, as an example. But what I have zero tolerance for is people that know about it and dismiss it without ever investigating it, looking at it and saying, hey, well, maybe I should check it out again as an example to see what can they offer me now, right? That's like the difference between someone who comes from overseas and can't speak the language versus someone who knows the language but refuses to read to better themselves. I mean, that's just being lazy. And there's a difference. There's a definite difference. So, if you haven't checked it out in a while, check it out. If you know somebody that could benefit from it, share it, because the better we are as an industry, the better we are. And there's nothing worse than a parent coming to you and say, well, I'm not doing martial arts anymore because I had a horrible experience down the road, and now you don't even get a shot at getting those people. We as an industry really need to rise to the top. We've got a long, long, long way to go. We're getting better, but I think we have a long way to go. And the potential and what we're seeing and the footprint of a martial arts school today and what's possible from a financial standpoint is at an all-time high. There's never been a better time to be in the martial art business than right now. And I know that may sound a little bit like, wait a minute, we just got out of COVID. I know. And there's been no better time to be in the industry than there is right now. And I know that may not be the truth for all areas, but as your areas start to open up, you're going to see the windfall of people. And if you've been able to stick through the COVID and the pandemic and still operate, if you've taken away and learned from that, the systems have to be absolutely tighter than they ever were. And that's what's going to propel you to the next level. And you're going to start having months you look back and go, how are we here? How do we get here?
But also, everybody listening to this, don't sit here and congratulations on Mr. Stewart, on all those trials and the appointments and leads. But here's the thing, though. Don't sit back and say, yeah, I'm getting so many new students. That's not the only way to grow your business. It's just one of 5 ways to grow your business. And there's 3 ways to grow any business, but in our specific industry, there's 5 profit centers. And getting all these enrollments, just remember, enrollments only last so long. Not enrollments, but the actual enrollment. You have a lifespan of an average student. So you're just constantly trying to get more, right? But there's ways to keep those students longer. There's ways to have your customer want to generate more revenue for you, pay you more money based on value, not because you're trying to sell them. There's systems here that you all, need to understand. And we as Maya, okay, our mission and our goal is to professionalize and help our industry. And like Tass said, it's not about the money right, that you guys pay as far as coming to a summit, let's say for $199. It's about the exhilaration that we get proving to you how we can help you. That's what it is for us. That is the why today. That is why we're here. That is why we're on there. I know just an hour ago, somebody just signed up for the summit, and I know we're only taking 20 spots, 20 schools, I think 20 schools. So, I mean, look, there's no risk in checking it out, right? Going to that link and just checking it out. And remember to ask yourself both questions. Why I wouldn't go here, and why would I go there, right? Well, why would I go? What can happen if I go? Answer those questions. And what can happen if you don't go? Nothing will change if you don't go, right? You'll continue doing whatever you're doing, right? So at the end of the day, we all have our why we got into this. Some of you fell into it, right? Some of you, your instructor asked you to teach class and you just kind of adopted this as a profession. But why are you still in it? And what would you like to see yourself get out of it? And the worst thing you can do is say, well, I'm in it because I can't do anything else. Like, that's not a big enough why. That doesn't mean you still have a passion for this profession if you're only doing it because you feel you have nothing else, right? I would want to consult you on that and help you find your passion, because at the end of the day, I believe that you have to have a passion for what you do if you're going to be successful. Why? Because to be successful, you got to do things that you don't enjoy. And when you don't enjoy what you're doing and you don't have a reason for it, as part of this profession, you're not going to do it, right? You're not going to do it. So you'll never maximize that success.
And if you don't enjoy it and you somehow become successful doing it, you're going to have a hard time building the team underneath you, because you said this before, right? Like, when you have a happy team, happy group of instructors, happy staff, right? Everybody produces more. And by the way, that's true for you too, right? So as an owner, when you're happy, you produce more, and there's no question. There's a direct correlation to your attitude and how you're taking things and what you're doing and what level of performance you have. I mean, try it out someday. Like, go into your school and just be excited and be happy. And that energy is contagious, right? And that alone is enough to get people to enroll in your program or maybe ascend to a higher level training, as opposed to going in and upset and frustrated. That also is contagious, and people will start to clam up and start to close up on you. So if you want to grow an organization, yourself or with a team, you've got to enjoy what you do. And, people may have heard me say this in the past, just for clarity. I always said, look, I don't have a plan B. It's not because there's nothing else out there that I can't do or because I didn't enjoy martial arts. It's because I didn't want to give myself an out, and make it easy. But like, well, if this doesn't work, I'm going to go sell high ticket price boats, as an example. Like, that wasn't my goal. It was like, this is my plan. I'm working it. I have no plan B. There's no fallback. Not because I can't go find something else or couldn't go find something else, but it's because I really wanted to make martial arts work and have zero excuses as to why I couldn't make it work. So
here's a perfect example. Loving what you do. I told you in high school, I went from making $450 a week to $60 a week. And I did that for a year, $60 a week. And I was happy. I was happy because I was teaching martial arts. Again, it was a nonprofit company. And I was going into 2 schools. I remember I worked in 2 schools and I taught 2 days a week, and they paid me $1 a student. And I had 30 kids on one day and 30 kids at a different school, 30 kids at the other school. And I made about $60 a week. And I was happy. And it was one of my martial arts instructors that said, hey, you could probably do this yourself in these elementary schools. And I did that, and I was happy. But then, some success started happening, some success. But even when I opened up my school, remember what I said at the beginning of this, my goal was, I just want to try to make 50 grand a year. That was my goal. I just want to try to make 50 grand a year so I can make a living, and I would be ecstatic because I loved what I did. But it's also because I put a ceiling on it. I didn't realize you could do more and make a bigger impact and be more until I went to a seminar. It wasn't until I went to a seminar that my eyes got opened. And then I started going to more and more and more and visiting people's schools. I mean, that's what I did, right? So anyway, there it is. Understand you can have both, and but write it down. Write down what it is that you want. So, any parting words there, Mr. Tassoul?
No, man. I mean, look, we're always here. We're always happy to help and hopefully inspire. I mean, I think that's the big thing, right? If you ever listen to Metz and I, sometimes there's the push, right, and sometimes there's resistance to the push, and then I think today is a little bit more of the pull and the inspiration and the why we got started, which doesn't have to be your why, but I think everyone's in a very similar boat. But if your why is big enough, listen, it's not a handout, it's a hand up, and we're here to help and get you to the level that you guys want to be at.
I hope to see a lot of you in Dallas next week.
Yep.
And I hope to see a lot of you here in Orlando at one of our schools, at our World Training Center. My school is your school. You could look at the brochures, you could take schedules, take the brochures, take pictures, and learn for 2 days. And we're going to have a networking dinner. We're going to treat everyone to dinner and just talk shop. And hopefully you go back the next day changed, different, with more knowledge to take your school up to another level.
Metz, let me just bring this up. So this is, I think, important. So I have a 16-year-old assistant instructor, and she came over from our second location. She came over to our first location. Her and another girl happened to stop over, and she walked in. She hasn't been there in, I don't know if she's seen classes at that school ever, to be honest with you. But she walked in and she sees these two kids that just got done with an intro. And she's like, "Hey, how are you guys?" It's not her location. She's at another location as assistant. "Hey, how are you guys? Congratulate. Were you excited to break your board?" She was like all over these kids. And I was like, whoa. I was very, very impressed. I said, "Hey, girls, do me a favor. Go in and watch 10 minutes of class. And when you're done, come back and talk to me." So they went in, they watched 10 minutes of class, came back out. I said, "So what'd you think?" Both of them were like, "Oh my gosh, sir." And this was a lesson for me. I'm like, "What?" So I said, "You guys, what's your biggest takeaway?" Well, they happen to be talking about Miss Abigail. Miss Abigail's 15 years old. And she's like, "Miss Abigail," she's like, she's just like, she's always smiling and she's so loud, like helping with the kids and so helpful. I said, "Why is that your biggest takeaway?" She's like, I'm blown away at how everybody on the floor is working together, right? And how much she's taking control of the classes and doing her thing. I said, "Well, that's exactly what you need to do when you get back to your school. You need to do exactly what you just saw. Now you saw something, you liked it, you were impressed by it. Now go back to your school." Long story short, a day later, in fact, I sent you the video last night. I got a video from that school showing me the class sizes because we're back and we're growing now after the pandemic again. Class sizes are now starting to get busy again. So I went on the cameras to go look at the class just to see what was going on. Well, that class had just ended. The new class started. That 16-year-old girl was lining up that next class. She lined up a class and took ownership and projected, and she took charge. And I was watching the video, and I was blown away by what she did. And why did that happen? Because she sat for 10 minutes watching an instructor at a different school and learned so much in just 10 minutes and went back and implemented it. And now is going to be that forever is going to be that school is going to be changed because she finally gets it and she understands it. Well, this is what happens when business owners go look at other businesses, not for 10 minutes. We hear it all the time. You may learn enough in the first hour. You're like, I got my money's worth in the first hour. But it's going to be an entire day or day and a half that you're going to be able to take the information, get the information, network, and imagine what could happen at your school and the impact that it could have if you could do exactly that and take that back and go implement what you learned. And it's seeing it from a different lens, different perspective. I thought it was very, very cool to see that unfold.
Yeah, and the video,
the rotating instructors,
and the video you sent me of the class was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, energy packed. Yeah, look great. Yeah. Well, there it is, guys. Again, you know, we're going to take a couple weeks off. We have an event next week in Dallas, huge event, like almost 250. We're like sold out. I mean, you know, we can't accommodate anymore. I mean, people, yeah, that's done.
Trying to find dinner for 250 people was tricky.
By the way, we did find dinner and couldn't fit us, and we had to find a different dinner.
Right.
And we had to cap it. I mean, that's it. And then we will be here in Orlando, August 6th and 7th, but that's different because the event in Dallas is at the Gaylord Texan Hotel. And obviously we can accommodate 250 people. I cannot accommodate that in our World Training Center. I can, but not for what I want everybody to see. We're not canceling classes. We have a full glass upstairs conference room where you will be, and you'll be able to overlook and see things as we're going through the seminar. But that's the whole point. So that's a very intimate 20 people, 20 schools. You know, the 199 includes 2 people, by the way. 2 people can come from one school for the 199. And then we treat you to dinner and talk shop. And then Saturday we go and, you know, we finish up. So click the link if you want to see the schedule and some information on that. And look forward to seeing everybody. Have a great next couple weeks.
Right
and
on.
We will see everyone soon.
All right, everybody. Thanks, guys. Appreciate everyone. See you later.
Take care. All right, guys. Bye-bye.